Narco Sub. Now, this is a really small, low budget film that is in a few theaters right now and is also on Amazon. I believe it premiered on Amazon in February 2021. My review for this film is next. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Reviews with Ryan. Today I'm going to be talking about Narco Sub. This is directed by Sean Welling and stars Lee Majors, Tom Vera, and Tom Sizemore. The film is about the Colombian cartel. They're trafficking cocaine into the US and they kidnap these two young women, and the main character, Stryker, he goes and he rescues them, and then meanwhile in the process they kidnap his family and he is forced to pilot a submarine for their next shipment to the US of cocaine. This is definitely a low budget type film. It has a good premise. I liked that the premise that it had going for it. It definitely showed promise. So there definitely is some gripes about this film being a low budget film. There's some interesting sound editing choices. There's also some interesting scenes. There's like this one torture scene that's a little awkward and it doesn't seem authentic as much. And it doesn't seem like throughout the film, like the acting and the chemistry of the characters are always there in the film. I think also the film is hard to follow. There's a lot of parts where certain things are happening and there's some good ideas, but they'll go to one scene and then they'll have that short scene and they'll cut and they'll go to another scene. And then also there's so many characters, it's a little bit much to keep up with. And for the viewer, I can understand where the frustration of just the editing and how the movie is just edited in general, and just the music in this, I wouldn't say it's nothing to write home about. It's not completely terrible, but there are times where there's certain choices of sounds and music that I was just kind of like, don't really know if I would have went with that, but there's definitely some instances where I felt that way. I felt like the lead actor does a pretty good job in his role. For this being a first film for him, I thought he did a pretty convincing role. The villains in this, they're all right, but I felt like they didn't really dive as much as they could have with the villains. I felt that certain characters, they're definitely underdeveloped in this film. And like I said, when they definitely cut away from different scenes, it definitely takes away from some of the suspense of the film, especially when, you know, his family's kidnapped. And it seems like, it doesn't seem like, if you're watching like the movie Taken, there's all the suspense and like terror of like, oh, is he going to, you know, get his daughter back? And I didn't feel that kind of sense. I know that this is a different kind of film than Taken, but I didn't feel like the suspense was there enough for me as a viewer watching the film. I felt like at certain times, like it seems like the characters are just kind of going through the motions and aren't really maybe grasping or fulfilling their role enough to make it feel realistic at times. I felt that they have some decent ideas. I felt like how the production of what they were doing for this film, as far as what the plot was, it seemed like it would be a pretty intriguing film, but I felt like they kind of missed the mark on this film. And my last kind of thoughts about this film is the fighting scenes. Towards the end, when he's trying to rescue his family, there really isn't much of fighting scenes. He goes to kind of this warehouse type area and he fights pretty much one guy. And I just felt like for a cartel, you know, shipping these drugs and kidnapping these women, there should have been more people to have him face and go against to, you know, rescue his family. And I felt like with that, it made it seem kind of underwhelming. I did like the final scene. There's a scene where they're kind of in a house and something goes down in there, and that ending part made sense. It definitely wrapped up well. I enjoyed that last few scenes and our hero and such, and what he does. You know, it makes sense, and he, like I said, he fulfills his role well. So it's convincing of his role. He he does a good job in that aspect. So I was mixed on the score to give this film. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. I think that the lead actor does a good job with his role. I think that the ending scene was pretty good wrap up. I think there are certain aspects that I liked about the film. I just wish that the editing and the way that they put the movie together would have been a little bit better. And the certain sound editing and such, I wish that that could have been a little bit better. And then I wish that some of the characters and their roles and some of the dialogue that they use, I wish that would have been a little bit better in the writing scheme. I would check this movie out, maybe on Amazon or streaming, and just kind of see for yourself what you think about it. It's a low budget film, like I said, so if you're not really looking to look at a low budget film, then this won't be the film for you. But with that said, like, comment, subscribe if you do see this film. Like I said, it's on streaming. Check it out and see for yourself and give it a grade of what you think. Thank you guys for watching this review, and I will see you guys on my next one.